In the bottom left, he is for Kaitsa Gaming. One of their aces, one of their many, Solar. And of course, in the upper left, in the red for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, pulling a miracle over Bjorn, he is Hero. All right, so to give it a little bit of context in how this is going to work, or in what is at stake here, I mean, outside of the fact that this is the finals and that's all well and good, Hero, in his GSL Super Tournament run, doesn't then have to play a Zerg unless he runs into Dark in the finals. Which is kind of likely, honestly. I don't think either Creator or Zoun beat Dark in a best of 5, and Bjorn will be hard-pressed, considering Dark can beat Maru. So I think it is Dark's run on the bottom side. But if Hero beats Maru, which, again, a big if, Maru is looking terrifying. He has to play the winner of Zest Bunny, so most likely Zest in another PvP, which he has shown himself to be very good at. And only then does he have to worry, does he have to start thinking about what he does to Dark. So this is not one of those cups where we're like, wow, you know, it's not like Bjorn where we're like, okay, well, you know, you're trying to hide your PvT stuff a little bit. There is nothing preventing Hero from showing his best stuff. On the flip side, Solar is in no tournament until, I believe he's in Katowice. He's got to be. Yeah, he's in the main event. So that is the only thing that Solar is preparing for, and that is still just about a month out. Man, and again, I think I've mentioned this, but I am so inordinately jealous of the casters that get to be there in person, and specifically whoever gets to cast that grand finals in front of Spodek Arena after 2 years of no LAN. Oh my. It is cool enough to be able to cast grand finals of major events, or even major, strictly speaking, major events. That's what King of Battle was for really hype setups. But actually, I'm going to use something that I was talking. I was talking with Zombie Grub about some casting stuff the other day, specifically hype casting, because I don't know, she happened to think I'm really good at it. I don't know. But point being, she was talking about hype casting, specifically about how there's like a 1 to 5 scale of hype casting, where, you know, a 1 is you're getting excited a little bit about what's happening, and, you know, zealots are going to run in, and 5 is you're blowing the roof off the place. And it's really hard. By the way, double Stargate Fleet Beacon. We're going to see, I believe, a Tempest Rush here for Hero in this game 1, and actually on Curious Minds. This seems like a really good setup. A, because Solar loves his Queen Walk, and he's setting up his creep spread for it to be a Queen Walk. But also, you got that dead airspace in the middle of the map here. You're going to be able to put Tempest in a really nice position and cause no amount of chaos, small amount of chaos. But anyway, back to what I was saying until things start to get interesting again. It's, you know, not a, you know, a lot of, it's not necessarily easy to go 1 to 5. But, you know, if you're in your bedroom, as the Zerglings actually will get on top of these Adepts here, and that does mean that there's not going to be too much defense for the third base. It forces more stuff out, or it forces the Phoenix to show that, or excuse me, the Tempests to show themselves. They will not do that. It's going to be Zealots warping in. And honestly, those Zealots warping in defensively might tell a story because they don't cost gas. Adepts do a little bit. So if you're trying to conserve your gas, well, the Zealots are going to do a good job. But point being, I can probably reach a 4.5. You know, if we're looking at online stuff, I definitely did it in the Mario vs. Cyril series because that was hype as hell. But, well, it's possible to hit a 5 online. Having that crowd behind you to just force you on as you're casting something super hype, man, I can only imagine. But even from what I've done, that sounds like the best feeling in the world. Is now we're going to see the Tempest move on forward. Solar has realized at some point what this build is. I believe I don't know if he got the scout off, but he's realized what's happening, which means he is not walking with some queens. I mean, they're on creep. That's fine, but he's not walking with them all that much. As we will, of course, see the Phoenix making stuff happen. But again, we saw this last week. Hero, you can't leave the door open, buddy. 11, 12, 13 workers will be the play. And there are spores, there are queens, there are corruptors theoretically on the way, although we don't see any just yet. This was America on Monday, actually. We saw Hero hit the finals against Solar once again, or maybe it was the semis, I forget. Point being, Hero did all this cool stuff, and he just kept the wall open. Or he didn't reinforce it when Zerglings killed off the one adept. And then it didn't matter all the cool stuff he was doing because, well, you lose 20 workers. That's kind of it. Now these Tempests for now are causing problems. They have one-shot potential on the queens, and they're going to start to pressure this hatch pretty heavily. But I mean, Corruptors are out now, and Corruptors have mean and judgmental things to say about Tempests. They have very pointed things to say about Tempest mothers and their families and their brothers and their sisters. So they're going to dive on top of them. These Tempests actually got to be a little bit careful because the Void Rays, they have turned on prismatic alignment. They are, powerful. They do damage. But this is not going to work out for Hero here. And as he runs away, Void Rays, well, they're out of prismatic alignment. Tempests are starting to fall down. Void Rays are starting to fall down. Corruptors have enough to take this fight fairly easily. More and more are on the way. The Tempests, well, they're just going down. They don't care. And sure, you build a bunch of voids on it. If I'm Solar, I'm kind of contemplating a Vita switch, but he's just overbuilding Corruptors. He says, well, time to camp your production, bud. Have a good time with that one. You're not going to have enough Void Rays to defend me. As I say that, though, he's going to back off, at least for the moment. Build more queens, maybe. Get up to 30 Corruptors. Okay, this is actually really interesting from Solar here. He is just continuing to build Corruptors over and over and over again. He is producing them. And actually, this is going to be interesting. So for now, yeah, Corruptors against Sky, really not the best. Or Corruptors against Void Ray, not really the best here. But if you overbuild it, you're fine. So I think what we're going to do here is just more and more Corruptors. Solar's going to look for that max out, and then maybe just dive into the main and pee it down. Caustic spray it down. So Hero will take position on the left side. There is plentiful creep here. It's going to be difficult indeed for Solar to make something happen. Is this run by? Is there a... Okay, thank you. Hero, he has done it. He's made the change. He just built a wall. He's like, oh, this is just too problematic. 2 big series in a row against Solar, and I just get run by to all hell, but even still, it's not enough. It's already happened once in this game, and GG. Solar, he takes game 1. But anyways, Nation Wars is coming back. Very, very excited about that one. They may have an offline event, or at least an offline viewing event, even if the players don't come in and play. And it's going to be two-player teams, which, again, I'm just kind of sad. It really sucks for, like, France and Germany and things like that. But on the flip side, you look at Canada and you got Scarlet. Who else? You look at Finland and you have Cyril. I don't know if Zhugelang plays anymore, and who would be a third. So it makes sense as the scene has kind of contracted since the last Nation Wars. But, very sad. Also, Fear Dragon is considering getting coaching to GM and trying to represent India along with like Demi Love, which would be a great time. So many Dark Templar. But okay. It's a Stargate game, once again. I still like the Tempest idea, even if it was not executed properly. And the Tempest was executed properly. It was just the wall. The wall was the problem. But for now, Void Ray opener, I mean, that shouldn't surprise anyone. Really, what we're looking at is that, like, 345, 350 timing. Does the third base get taken? Does Hero delay it? You know, does he wait it go into, like, 430 something? Go for that quicker tech? I don't know. Solar, of course, on this map, he is kind of a less easy push towards a Queen Walk, at least from the way he is taken. Well, actually, I guess that's not quite true. I always look at this and think the triangular third gives you more creep into the middle into kind of pushing for a Queen Walk, but I guess actually the linear third is a slightly more direct route into kind of the natural third base location of Hero just because of how the map winds. So, Solar still has that option available to him. And yeah, 350 third base. So, really not seeing too much right now. Void Ray and Oracle. Of course, this Oracle is going to... Hardwire is a big map. Oracle's going to show up at, you know, 430 and probably not get too much done. Maybe 420. Nice. But there we go. Okay, second Stargate. Are we going to see another Fleet Beacon? Is this how Hero thinks the best way to play this series is? We have seen Hero in the past, as it looks like Adepts have found their way into the third base. One worker or two workers will go down, but, you know, 2 workers for 2 Adepts is not really cost effective. We've seen Hero be a little bit stubborn in the way he wanted to approach things. I mean, he took the same approach to the game. Games 1 and 2 against me on different builds, but same approach, and it didn't really work. This game, something similar. This time it's going to be +1 Voids instead of Tempests. And, you know, in part this makes sense, right? As Zerglings are going to try to find their way on in. But, I mean, there's a shield battery, so this should not really punch out. Yeah, this should punch out through. Although, maybe the Adept out of the wall? No. So, yeah, not getting Tempest on this map makes a lot of sense. Sure, there's maybe some dead airspace at the corners, but you can't park your Tempest somewhere really nice and start shilling away at the Queens and the Hatchery and things like that. So, getting the Voids, which are a little bit more maneuverable, is nice. We're going to have to see whether it works out for him, though. The game has been paused, so we'll, well, it always happens like that.
Game resumed.
The moment you bring the scene out of game, it's like, nope, bye-bye. 3, 2, 1, back into the game. But anyway, for now, you know, we, okay, there we go. Solar, do not pull all your drones back into that. For now, we got a game where Hero, he's on 3 bases. He has Void Rays on the way, and what exactly is Solar going for? Dark Style, okay. So Infestation Pit is on the way. We're going to Spire as well. We're going to see Mass Corruptor, some Infestors, and the key thing, I think, is Queens, but there are only 7 Queens on the map right now. We're not seeing Solar kind of at least consistently build 2 at a time, as that Stasis Trap will be successful this time. That is, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drones pulled off the line, not able to mine. Meanwhile, Adepts finding their way into the third base as well. So, yeah, Solar is taking a lot more damage in this game. Drone's just not allowed to mine at the third base for now. The Zerglings will finally get up at 7 workers dying on top of 10 not being allowed for 40 seconds. That's a pretty nice move here. Solar's gonna not be too happy about that one. And behind this, of course, we see a fleet beacon, we see a robo bay as well. So it's gonna be carrier disruptor out of this, I think. And carrier disruptor against kind of the style that Solar is going for can be very good so long as the timing is hit properly. But I feel like with this style, we get more queens earlier on. There are only 8 on the map right now. Infestors are on the way. More queens are being made now. And that gas, actually both gas will go down here. Nice job. But I guess the queens for now, they have enough. You only go up to like 14 to 16 once you have 5, once you're on 84, 90 workers, which is what Solar is doing. And this is really interesting. He's getting +1 carapace in this game. Normally, you don't get carapace against Zerg or against Protoss. They just kind of hit too hard, and it's really not worth it. But in this game, where your queens and your everything else are going to be dealing with things that hit fast, but not necessarily hard per damage instance carriers, interceptors attack pretty quickly. Void Rays have like a significant number of ticks per minute. Getting +1 carapace is potentially more valuable than getting a +1 attack, although that +1 attack will come to the fore now. And this is a different way, a different and interesting way of getting into the kind of the dark style. We're now starting to see corruptors hit the field, vipers as well, +1 air armor, baneling nest, ultralisk cavern, pretty much every little bit of tech that Solar could ever want. He's getting now because he's pretty much gotten himself to 90 workers with very few hiccups. Yeah, the adept getting 7 workers was annoying. Yeah, the 10 drones not mining for 30 seconds is a problem. But for the most part, outside of that really big spike we've seen, Solar is economy. He's in a wonderful spot. But now we're going to have to see whether the Voids can snipe down the Hive, whether Solar has cut too many corners for this to happen. Queens are going to roll on in. The Hive is just dead. There we go. It's going to be a recall. 1 Void Ray goes down. Second one goes down as well. And, with the parasitic bomb here, there we go. Another Void Ray does go down. So 3 Void Rays will pay the price for Hive. I'm pretty sure Hero's going to be okay with that. But the big deal, right, when you get the Hive, it means no Vipers. Vipers are already on the field. Outside of Cracklings, that's really all that Solar cared about from the Hive right now. And as the lair is already just about done, it's not going to be too much of a delay so long as the Vipers are maintained. And Solar's army is starting to become expensive. It's starting to become gas rich and cause problems for Hero in this game. But even still, we're not there yet. I don't think we're going to see Solar push too quickly, and we're about to hit this is the +2 carrier timing. Hero is going to be somewhat close to maxing out. And this is not an easy fight for the Zerg to take, especially with the disruptors in the mix that are going to try to just knock down the infestors, knock down the queens, do things like that. But our ultras are getting on. Oh, they're going to get all 2 of the 3 infestors. That is massive here. Suddenly, there was so much energy in those infestors for fungals that are just not there anymore. And now Hero's push is a little bit easier. That being said, Vipers right now ranging forward, trying to see if they can get any good abducts. Do we have any High Templar in the field? Looks like we don't. So nothing is really going to be able to get the feedbacks that our player is looking for. And of course, these 1/1 Lings, they actually will be able to somewhat deal with the Zealots. I mean, the Zealots do have +2, but with the Ultras as well, that's going to be fine. Meanwhile, now we got the push in earnest on the right side. Ultras and Lings not totally sure where they want to be. Do they want to defend this push at the 4th base? Do they want to defend the push at the 5th? Well, they're right at the 4th, and now they're going to have to run over to the 5th, which means this army is a problem here. We have no fungals. Okay, actually, they're going to go down pretty quickly, but there's the fungal parasitic bomb combination. The army looking to roll on in here, but so many zealots on the ground are causing problems. Even still, the transfuses, they're doing a good job here, and the ultras are staying alive for now. They actually have +3 armor, as of course the chitinous plating is done, so it means these zealots doing just about nothing. And that was a great move from Hero there, making that push in 2 positions. But Solar had what he needed everywhere. I think he had some really good Baneling connections as well, as he did just once again. But the Ultras are starting to go down. These Archons are reigning supreme. Hero looks like he may have what it takes to go through, but the army on the he's going to be able to knock down all these Ultras. But the Corruptors are pretty much unfettered, well, they're running roughshod through it all, but still, 3 carriers remain. The army on the ground is good. And the supply tells a different story from what we see on the map here. Solar, he's kind of first to turn tail and run. He's not losing his bases yet. But the army that he has rebuilt is not nearly as expensive as it once was. So many Corruptors going down in a blink of an eye, and now there's no anti-air. Nothing that really deals with these carriers anymore. I mean, yeah, you have Vipers, but the Vipers without something to shoot up don't really do all that much. Most of the Spores have died. And Hero doing that really cool thing where you commit heavily to air and then you commit to ground, says, no, no, no. Get out of my game. Hero takes game 2. All right, I love what Hero's doing here, actually. We talk about where you take your third as a way to enable queen walks. Well, by pylon blocking the third base there, this keeps Hero so much safer. She doesn't want any no, see, I don't want to buy games right now, Shelch. She just bought me the game. She just bought me Stardew Valley. But she is not a gamer. Certainly not a competitive gamer. I have offered to try to teach her StarCraft or get her into it. And to that one, she kind of laughs and just says, no, I'm not really into all that much. She supports me, and she keeps trying to convince me to move down to Dallas and do this full time. Because right now, she lives in Texas. I live in New Hampshire. Which, you know, long distance isn't the most fun thing. But as Zerglings will find this adept here, which means this third base, actually, enough Zerglings will go down. The third base is going to be fine. And of course, the big problem with where I live in New Hampshire is like the nearest airport is 2 hours away. Not the easiest place to get to, compared to everywhere else I've lived for like the last 5-6 years. So she's trying to convince me to do that. You know, I'm not there yet. I rock somewhere between 14 and 50 subs, depending on how generous people are. And I'm not getting mainstream stuff, so for now, you know, sit here, do PhD stuff, learn robots. In the meantime, we cast EPT cups on the weekends. On Wednesdays, though, we do not wear pink because I don't think I own anything that is pink. I own a light red shirt. Does that count as pink? Ooh, so we're going to have a Glaive, Stargate Glaive coming from Hero into this game. I'm pretty sure this is a fake +1 air, by the way. 99% sure. Because you do not forget Glaive with +1 air. Although, you know, who knows? Hero may keep this up and give him a nice transition point. I thought this... Well, he hasn't canceled it yet. Very interesting. So normally, what I thought was happening here was, he's like, okay, Zerglings are around my third. My Oracle is aware of them. The Zerglings are going to go scout the... they're going to scout the Cybercorp. I want to make sure things are, you know, as they should be as a Zergling finds its way in. A Zergling finds its way in, and that's going to be a problem. +1's still not canceled, and the Zealots, or excuse me, and the Adepts are now shading in here. Is there enough from Solar? 8 Roaches are on the way, but they're not here yet. Adepts find their way into the main base. Resonating Glaives is done in 2-1. It's done now. And we're going to start to see some workers go down, but this is perfectly timed from Hero. Or excuse me, perfectly timed from Solar. But now the Adepts, they find their way into the natural. 3 workers go down, 4 workers go down, and the Adepts in the third, they're causing the big problems here. 6 workers go down. I don't think this is enough, though. Not yet. 10 workers paying the iron price. That's going to be that. But I guess the other way to look at this, realistically, is looks like 13 is going to be that final number. Realistically, +1 air is done. Or just about. Hero can do a pretty quick transition as Adepts find their way in, and there's more. It's never the first push, although I guess in this case it was. It's never really the first push. It's like the two Adepts shading in 2x2 that get an additional 10 workers that really break the camel's back. But yeah, Hero has completed +1. He's not built a single Void Ray after the first. But he has completed +1. He's got Blink on the way as well. He's building a more... I gotta imagine that was a mistake. And I mean, +1 air is very good, but only if you plan on using it. And I don't think he is. Adepts now going to shade into the third base. A couple more workers will pay that price before the Adepts go down to 5. Oh yeah, Adepts in the natural as well. So this is actually starting to really snowball for Hero here. He's up work as he has been for the last couple of minutes. His mining has been spiking tremendously. And behind this, we have Blink, we have Immortals, everything that a young Protoss could want when dealing with Roach play. Also, hello there, Evan Testa. Are you in any way related to Dave Testa? Okay, but Adepts, they will fight. Oh, the stasis trap as well. Hero is just everywhere. Hero has these games sometimes where he's just able to just enforce his will on the map and get so much economic damage done, where he just doesn't let his opponent recover. Meanwhile, I mean, the supply is not really astounding for Hero right now. You know, he's got just about equal army supply with the Zerg, but that by itself is a terrifying idea, as he has four Immortals on the map held back by a single probe. Oh no, whatever shall happen. I hope he remembers this. But now Colossus are on the field as well, or started to hit the field. +1, extended thermal lance. We're gonna see a Blink Stalker timing with like 4 Colossus, and I don't know that Hero is gonna be anywhere in position to stop this. He's getting Banelings, sure. Banelings can be good. +1 melee can be good. But I think in this game where Solar has lost 40 drones and lost the mining time of more, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult indeed for Solar to make this happen. But, you know, he has pulled rabbits out of hats before. The really interesting thing, actually, is I don't know if you all saw Creator versus Solar, but we're seeing Hero play kind of a very different style, actually, compared to what we saw Creator kill Solar with. Now, Creator, game 1, that was a really cool cannon rush. And game 2 was kind of ground toss, but it wasn't this. It wasn't Adapt Glaives. It was just a blink timing that didn't work into a max out. But I wonder whether Heroes kind of saw that. He's like, yeah, maybe Solar, you're a little bit weak against these just kind of massive amounts of Blink Stalker Colossus shenanigans that used to be a thing. And now Solar's going to try to get to Hive. And at Hive, there are Vipers. Viper's the ultimate solution to any sort of Robotech. But that is a day late, couple dollars short. There's this one Colossus removing the scouting Zerglings. You'll love to see it. It's not exactly... It's a little bit scary there, but it's going to work out. The army is not there. Solar cannot punish that. And now here we go. The army comes. Yeah, it's a little down in army supply, but this is not one of those games where you have to be even in army supply. The army that Solar has built is not expensive. His hero spent about 1,000 gas more. It is not really expensive. It is an army that is meant to have a lot of supply and not be all that efficient about it. But now we got the army moving in. Of course, Baneling drops. We're going to keep an eye on that. Look like they've run into the natural as well. So it's going to be Hero attempting to push in. As he, those sentries just about took a lot of damage. As now the Baneling drop is going to find its way on in. Hero is not paying attention. So 7-17. 20 workers go down. Baneling run by into this fourth base as well. But the stasis trap is actually going to save a lot of this. That's going to be nice. Still takes 2 Banelings to kill probes at this point. So 25 workers have died. Meanwhile, Banelings come crashing on in from every side. I said, you know, Solar's pulled a rabbit out of a hat before. Well, this is not just a rabbit. This is a, I don't know what's bigger than a rabbit. A big rabbit. Because Hero went from a dominating position to being dead in span of 5 seconds. And that's got to feel bad here for the Smiling Assassin. This is just not good. Maybe he wants to try some storms. They're not going to land. The Colossus is dead. Everything is, in fact, dead in the ground. I mean, there's a lot of DPS in this army right now. It's kind of hard to kill it. But there we have it. GG. Solar, he takes game 3, and he puts himself on tournament point. So Solar's up a game. More importantly, it means he's got a game to give. I mean, Solar has a significant love for Queen Walks, and he is already setting himself up for that, just the creep. It's not it's not guaranteed to happen, but Solar does enjoy doing it, and Hero has gone. It's going to be it's Oracle first this time. Which may catch Solar just a little bit off guard, because just Oracle first is not the common meta. We just don't see it as much anymore. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but it does tend to be Void Rate in Oracle, because what you kind of lose in Oracle being across the map right at that 4-minute mark, you gain in having a Void Ray that denies scouting. But Hero's going to go for a second one, and if tonight is anything to go by, we may see a third. And 2 to 3 Oracles means a couple things. It means A, you're not really committing to Stargate tech, which is, maybe good here for Hero. B, it could mean you're really committing and you're going for 2-base carrier, as Zest was doing a build where he would go triple Oracle into 2-base carrier and just have a lot of fun with it. But it looks like it's only going to be double Oracle right now, and behind that, well, we got a Twilight, so it's going to be ground tech behind this for Hero. And I mean, I would love to say that worked for him in the previous game, but it very clearly did not. Oh, interesting. So yeah, this is going to be the stats build, and this part of the game worked for Hero. His Adepts got value. They were happy. So, that Queen will not be injecting anytime soon, as the second Oracle pops in as well. Not going to get too much here, but the Spore, gonna shoot things away. One drone does go down, a little bit more take damage. But if this is the game that Hero wants to play, I don't hate your standard Roach defense into just straight mutas. Because mutas are a pretty good way to deal with Robotech. I mean, yeah, Blink Stalker timing, it's a little rough. But you put the option open. The minute you hold that, you move across the map, you build 10 mutas, and suddenly you're bouncing around bases. Not much that the Zerg can do. But Solar, actually, he's a little bit supply blocked here, and the Adepts find their way into the natural. Roaches are not even started. But no, not yet. That Stasis Trap is going to get 2 drones. Okay. Much better than, 15. And the Adepts say, no, they don't, because Glaives are not done yet. That Stasis Trap gets a little bit more. Getting this Queen to not inject for forever is a significant problem. But here, Solar has enough Queens. He's sitting here on 6. He could have more, but I think he started to realize that this is not Stargate play. And the Adepts kind of just looking for a way in. Remember, Solar won game 3 when he took 40 drones worth of damage, and in a cost-efficient way too. But now the Adepts are going to shade on in. Are the Roaches ready? Not really just yet. But the Adepts, they say, yeah, the old switcheroo here. We're going to move into the third now, because your army was in the main, and we're just going to wipe out this mineral line. 7 workers go down pretty quickly. Queens can't quite rotate yet. Zergling's on top of the Adepts, but honestly, those Adepts may be able to take that fight regardless. They're going to put a lot of pressure on this third base. 11 workers have died thus far. We're going to see the Spore fall, maybe. So 11 workers have died. Not nearly the catastrophic damage that Solar took in that previous game. Remember, he lost full mineral lines. But hey, he will get a Queen, and if the Adepts are going to hang around for a moment because the army is not there. Meanwhile, Stasis Trap is going to get actually not trigger in the natural, but in the main base, It's going to get like 5 or 6 workers at depths. We'll get fully surrounded, though. This is what the fight that Solar was kind of looking for. Roach is going to find the rest of them. So finally, this adept pressure is gone. Finally, the stasis trap has been dealt with in the natural, but even still, Solar's economy has been hampered. But unlike last game, it has been bruised, but the bruised is only skin deep, maybe muscle deep. It's not bone deep. So for now, Solar, he has his 3 bases. He has his 70 workers. The stasis trap is not going to be successful this time. It's going to get 1 worker. Solar much more on top of it. And there we go. I was about to say, you know, I'd love to see those spores kind of go on the edges more, but now they're going to do that. Well played there, Solar. Now, because of this push, and because the Queens have not really been able to do what they want to do, Solar, his creep is really uninspiring. It's not developed nearly as well as he would like it, but given time, that should be fixed. The interesting thing is the fact that we got an infestation pit coming down here. I think this is just for Hive. I think this is just for Hive. Because I can't imagine this being like an infestor game. And, you know, Hive is great against what a hero's going for. I mean, Hive is the ultimate answer to Disruptors and Colossus and everything else. Yeah, so, okay, so it's going to attempt to... It's going to try to be Hydra Lurker Viper, but Hero's looking to push in now before that happens. He's got a blink done. He's got +1 done here. Definitely going to find their way into the natural, but Solar is more than prepared for that one unless there's some fancy target fire here. And the army on the right side, I mean, it's good, but it's Roach Ravager against a bunch of Disruptors. Let me tell you, that is not good for the Roach Ravager player. Not really, but looks like Solar will be able to hold for the moment. He's got a decent supply lead off of killing all those Adepts. And, well, Hydra Den is done. The Hive is just about halfway done. 3/4 of the way done here. And that does mean that for the moment, Solar will be safe. This push has not been too successful for Hero, even as more Stalkers get warped in. And the longer this goes, again, the better it is for our Blue Zerg. Now, again, Disruptor shots, 1, 2. Oh, that's going to be actually not incredible. Only 2 Ravagers do go down. But Hero, has started to find a significant supply lead now. He's up 10, 15 army supply. Vipers are on the way, but they're not here yet. It's going to take them a little bit of time anyways. Hydras as well, because they actually deal with Disruptors a little bit better. They're just smaller. They're less unwieldy. But still, this timing from Hero is a little scary still. Especially with all the vision that these Oracles are providing. Every time you move forward, you got to be careful. Disruptor shots just looking to blow things up. 2 shots go down. I believe there are 2 balls remaining. Nice splits there. Stalkers blink onto the right side. They're just going to target fire this base down, I think. No, they're going to get the workers. 4 workers do go down. 1 more shot for the road, and the base will die. Solar, here's the problem. He doesn't have a base on the other side. He's not gone and said, okay, well, I'm just going to take the base on the other side. You can have this one for now. And it is a 4-base Protoss against a 3-base Zerg who does not have Lurkers. And anyways, Lurkers are not all that great against Disruptors. We don't have the Vipers yet. Disruptor shots can pair away a little, but now we should see Abducts here on the, well, actually not great target fire. Now Stalkers blink on forward saying, hey, this is my time. This is my destiny here. The army of Solar is melting, but it looks like maybe just, no, this is not going to work out here. Hero, he saw his timing and he took it. GG, game 5. Hero, he's taking us there. So we're on Blackburn. It means we're probably not going to see Queen Walks, although realistically we haven't seen one of those in this series anyways. But it also means that there's a lot of dead airspace. Quick Stargate play can be a thing. Quick Spire tech can be a thing, kind of like Phoenix into or Muta into Corruptor ideas. And that is something that Solar has been rather fond of for the last couple months. But other than that, we're just going to have to see. Because it really does feel that this series has been it really does feel that this series has been dictated by Hero. In all fairness, that is often how things go when a Zerg is playing. Unless a Zerg chooses to all in, they're going to be the most reactive race. The Terran or the Protoss tends to be able to dictate the direction the game is going, and the Zerg says, okay, this is how I look to respond. Okay, so it will be Void Ray first, Stargate play from Hero in this game, which shouldn't be all that surprising. We saw it every game but that previous one, which was Oracle first. We have to see just how much damage Hero gets done here. Now, he does have the Oracle coming out, sure. I memean, it's going to be at that 4:30 timing-ish. Well, actually closer to... Yeah, it's going to show up in the base right around like 4:30, 4:40. Which does mean it's going to be a little bit later, but there we go. The Fleet Bake in Game 5. It did not work in Game 1, although it probably should have. Run-bys, of course. The great bane of Hero. But in this game, well, it's an interesting one. It certainly is an interesting map to go for this build. Because if you think about it, right, on the one hand, there's a lot of dead airspace. In fact, you can kind of pressure the main with your Tempests. On the flip side, it is very unlikely that you will go and see a Queen Walk on this map, which is kind of what this build is meant to counter. It's meant to go and say, okay, well, you're walking Queens. I can one-shot them. This is going to be a good time. So Tempests are starting to hit the field right now, coming out 2 by 2 orbs of blue. No hands, though, because I don't believe Tempests have hands. But they're not robots, actually, so, you know, I don't know, maybe blue hands in the Protoss, whatever. This is interesting, though. So we already have the transition out of Tempest Tech from Hero in this game. Now, we know he's going to go up to 5, because that is what kills a Queen. But behind that, we're not going to see Tectonic Destabilizers. He's not going to use this as a really strong building killer. Instead, it looks like Void Rays are going to be the tech path of... Oh, interesting. He's only getting 2. Now, 2, I don't actually know, as unfortunately Hero is supply blocked just a little bit here. I don't know what... I don't think Tempest, 2 Tempests one-shot anything. Now, they one-shot Zerglings. But nothing more than that. However, what they can do is just kind of sit on the other side of the gold mineral patch and shell away at it, make life really miserable for Solar here. You thought a marine drop kind of sitting behind your gold mineral base was awkward. This is even worse. There's just no way that realistically Solar ever gets on top of this. Not until he gets his creep all the way on the other side of things. As the saving grace here is the fact that you know, there are not more Tempests, so this base is not dying as easily. So Queens will start to get on top of this. I don't think this base totally goes down once the Queens survive. Of course, you know, they'll have transfuses once the base finishes, but there are a lot of voids done on the map here, and that does mean that, well, the main base is in a significant peril. So Void Rays show up now, but there are a lot of Queens on the map here. I was wondering about the amount of Queens that were bought earlier by Solar. This time he is taking no prisoners. He's being extra careful in this game. We already had 9 Queens. But the Void Rays are going to arrive here with this Tempest as well. These Queens are out of energy. They have +1, and they have Flux Veins, and that means these Queens are dead. That means this base is dead. That means the static defense is going to die as well. Tectonic Destabilizers are on the way. The Queens have done what they can. They will go down here. Now, Corruptors in the sky would be scary if it was not just primarily Voids. Actually, that being said, that is a lot of Corruptors in the sky. 1 Void will go down, and the Tempest dead as well. So So Hero, he found value, but at the end of the day, kind of an even trade. This doesn't include the base. Okay. And now Corruptor's looking to dive in the high ground. We're going to see them just kill off all these. I would actually, no, we're not. There are too many Void Rays here. 3 Void Rays at a time produce fairly quickly, so they are not going to be able to dive in and just kill all the Stargates. They will stay alive. +1 air is done, of course. +2 air on the way. 3 Void Rays at a time. As Hero takes his 4th, and it's going to finish right around the same time as the 4th of the Zerg. When it's a Sky Toss game, that is not what you want. You want to be mining more and able to just kind of trade inefficiently, because really, the thing we've learned about Sky Toss, and the thing that we kind of always knew about playing Sky Toss, is you kind of almost treat it like mech. So it's like the Protoss version of mech in terms, it's cost effective, especially carrier store. Maybe less so. Mass Void Rays would be maybe considered like a Cyclone Hellion idea, battle mech. Anyways, you want to trade effectively regardless. As the Voiders are going to say, yeah, I'm taking this fight. Prismatic Alignment says these Corruptors are dead. Of course, Queens are going to do a pretty good job of keeping them alive for now. And the army of Solar is pushing, but this is not a well, actually, it's a fairly significant army supply lead. And I guess that is what he's going to be pushing on. Now, of course, we're going up to 5 Stargates on 4 bases. The rule of thumb says about 1 Stargate per base. I guess if you're going Void Rays, you can support just a little bit more here, as the Void Rays are able to chase things down. For now, Hero's not able to mine from the gold minerals, only the gas. But the Void Rays are going to shoot that one away rather quickly indeed. And we have static defense, so, well, Corruptors will not break this. But Solar actually looks like he is just doing what he can to try to just shoo the army away. So Corruptors, they're going to go and they're going to sit on top of the Stargates, and there we go. We're going to see, yeah, it's not going to work though. Void Rays are just too fast, and actually with the Prismatic Alignment, these Corruptors are in a world of trouble. +2 is now done. There are no armor upgrades. So many Corruptors get low. Not too many die, but so many get very low indeed. And the Void Rays just trying to chase them down. How many Queens do we have on the field? Only 8. Not enough to really keep this alive here. And Hero, I think he's taking a good fight. Yeah, that's gonna yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. The Queens, really not too many transfuses, and now with the stasis trappies here, this aggression is not going to work out too well either. Hero is really solidly locked into his 4 bases now with these cannons going up, and Hero and Solar have started to realize that fact. We have an infestation pit going down now. This is going to be a 14-minute hive. There is so much timing here for Hero to just kind of run across the map with lots of stuff and really enforce his will. +3 air is on the way. I'm kind of surprised we don't see carriers getting started by now, because at this point, I mean, he has enough voids. Sitting on 14 Void Rays, that's a lot. But on the flip side, it's like, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Max out on Void Rays, sure. But Infestors are on the way, and that is, well, eventually, you know, Hive Infestor, Viper Infestor does, well, it does get you done. It does get you what you want. It does allow you to kill off these Void Rays. So we're going to see Hero start to be a little bit more active on the map with him. He's done a really good job of defending. And now, well, I mean, this is just kind of a dead base. Dead static defense is not going to be able to do too much either. Yeah, just watch it chunk down immediately. Static defense is just going to be another sacrifice. More blood for the Blood God. And these Corruptors are going to try to chase the Voids down, but they really don't want this fight. The Voids do, the Corruptors don't. Although they do have 1-1 now. So there is that. Theoretically nullifying the one of the attack upgrades, but it doesn't quite scale like that. And look at this. There is actually going to be a mothership on the way. Of course, Blackburn's a great map for it, because you can put your mothership in one side of the map, put your army on the other, and force the Zerg north, and then you teleport into their base. But Solar, he is on Hive now. He does have Vipers. His Infestors have energy. He's technically on 5 bases. I mean, he's not totally on 5 bases yet, but, you know, he he just kind of lost a hatchery, and that's going to be fine. But Zerglings now, or excuse me, Zealots are going to run on in. Fungal's going to get dropped, but any Fungal that is not on Void Ray is a valuable trade there for Hero indeed. Void Rays will find their way into the main base here, but Corruptors arrive. There's too much static defense. Void Rays, they run away. Tail between their legs, and two Voids died for just not a lot on the other side. But these Zealots are actually starting to find significant value here, and the Corruptors do not want this fight. Queens are not in range, and slow zones are going to make good things happen for Hero. But actually, yeah, there's no but. Hero doing a great job here, and now look at his bank. He's at 2k, give or take. He's starting to ravage things, just getting on top of the ground army here, which is forcing Solar to, well, Solar has fell into that trap. He said, yeah, I'm going to build a bunch of Corruptors, and Hero's starting to do a similar thing to what he did in game number 2, I believe it was, where he's like, okay, well, you know, if you're going to commit hard to Corruptors and air stuff, that's fine. I'll just build Zealots and Stalkers and Archons and run across the map. So Void Rays into the main base. Once again, the Corruptors are still there. They're going to, oh, we're going to see some parasitic bombs. We're going to have to see a recall, I think, very, very soon, but not before killing the Ultra Cavern, I don't think, as Zealots at this point are going down. Oh, yeah, there we go. Ultra Cavern is dead. Mothership's teleporting him. There they go. They go on in. It's a parasitic bomb, but that's going to be fine. Another base is dead. Really great moves here from Hero, even as this takes a lot of... The splits are not great. These Void Rays took a lot of damage here, but he knocked down tech. He locked down economy. And there we go. The full recall to the... Where's it going? There we go. To the natural. And Hero, you know, he can go back. He can spend his bank. He can resupply. Solar does not have that luxury. He's really not mining all that much. Or I guess he's mining a decent amount. Hero's just mining more. He's mining 3,000 minerals a minute on 80 probes. And yeah, he's kind of spending, what, about half of his bank to make that happen, but still. And look at this. So now Hero's going to move on the north side. Okay, that's just a Warp Prism. Never mind. But Hero's going to move on to the north side once again. He's going to deny this 5th base for like a 5th time. As Zealots run in, and there's not a lot here. Ultra's now pretty good Zealot defense. And Void Rays, okay, they're going to get the gold, not the 5th. Corruptors are going to try to join in. One Fungal's going to hit, but other than that, Void Rays, they can run away. And Zealots in the main. The Warp Prism actually finding good value here. These are +2 Zealots. This is a dead hive. Hero is just tearing Solar apart in late game in a style that we have not seen in quite a while. That being said, these are a bunch of dead Voids. They're all dead. And I don't think you wanted to trade them like that. Even as these Zealots are doing such a good job here, knocking down so much tech. They got the hive. I imagine they got the Ultra Cavern. Maybe not. But now the Corruptors are going to try to dive on top of this. But there are Archons just up the wazoo. Yeah, the Mothership is dead, but that is not a -400 Mothership anyways. GG Hero looking excellent.